Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and how are you all today? I want to talk today about bugging out. I've done several here recently that talked about things that might make bugging out necessary. So that's what we'll start with today. I'll try to get everything done in one video. It can be complicated. If I have to do a second one, I will, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. First off, welcome to all the new people, especially all the new people who have joined us on Patreon. I'm glad that so many of you have believed me and accepted my invitation to come over to Patreon, where you get so much more than you get on YouTube. Not just from me, but from other outlets and from some of our exceptional patrons who are so smart in so many of the areas that I don't know about. And they add to a lot of it. We have a real community over there. So welcome to all of you who have come over to the Patreon channel. For those of you who haven't, I encourage you, I invite you, I entice you, I implore you, all those good things. Not for me, but for you. There is so much over there you can learn from. And really, it's just a great community. I love all the people on YouTube, but I do have to deal with some weeding out of some things on YouTube, and it's getting kind of old, and that's why I'm concentrating more and more on Patreon and on Rumble. But anyway, wherever you are, welcome to you. Some of you are reading my mind. I'm going to answer a question today as it goes into bugging out, what to look for, what to think about, how you should be set up. And then somebody asked me directly, how do you do it? And so I'm going to address some of that, or how do you plan to? I've never had to bug out, but I'm prepared to. And so I'll talk a little bit about what the process would be for me. And I'll put you right up, put this right up in front. You need to plan it ahead of time. Okay, so I had several questions. Oh, by the way, anybody wanting autographed books from me, you need to do it through the website, stonemont.us. What books, Steve? My books. If you can get them, the Stonemont series, on Amazon, been able to do that since 2017, in either paperback or Kindle. So I'll put the link down there, Amazon link down there for those. But if you want them autographed, do it through our website, stonemont.us. Great books for those of you who don't know about them. It's a complete guide to preparing for, surviving, and then rebuilding after a total collapse. And if you want to be ready for what I think is coming, these books will be very helpful. I've had people tell me they've read through the whole series 5 times and are still getting new information out of it that they missed the first 4 times. There's that much in there. Plus, it's a great story. Great story. So that's the Stonemont series. And like I say, if you want them autographed from me, order through the website, stonemont.us. It's down there below. We've run out again, guys. Wow. Thank you for everybody. But I've got another order in. And when we have them in stock, and we'll have them in stock soon, they say the next load's coming in first week of June. And that's coming up, right? Okay. So, and usually when we have them in stock, we get them in the mail to you the day you order them, or the next day, depending on what time we see the orders. So that's what to do there. Somebody asked about what did they have? They have several questions here. Oh yeah, somebody asked, how about doing a book or two, excuse me, about a scenario taking place in the suburbs, because I've talked about preparedness in the suburbs. I talk about the fact that I feel the suburbs are a better place to be before a collapse, not after. Okay, so I'll be talking about that in today's video. And the funny thing was, I had just started about an hour before I saw that comment. It was on Patreon, and I checked the Patreon comments throughout the day. So if you want to get right to me, Patreon's the way to do it. And somebody asked, have you thought about doing a series, 1 or 2 books on, grid going down and about the people and how they survive in the suburbs? And I had just started writing a new series about that very thing. Now, it's not exactly surviving in the suburbs, but it starts in the suburbs. Okay. And I've wanted to do that for a long time. I started years ago when I first started the Stonemont series. And I had 2 directions to go, and the Stonemont series just kind of took over. So I'm excited to get back to that because I think there's so much to deal with, so much to talk about the different personalities, what will happen among people, what will happen in the suburbs after a grid down. And I think that a lot of people have a very simplistic attitude toward it. And it, just like I say, I'll never be able to cover everything in videos that I have in my books. I think that it's so difficult to cover that stuff in videos, and so I'm looking forward to doing that in a book. Somebody else asked, hey, by the way, I've gotten so many compliments on the weenie weeding. Did you know I had somebody call up and say that my reference to weenie weeding, and if you're new to us, I had somebody complain about me drinking coffee on here and gulping too loudly. And so I said, if you can't handle that, how are you going to handle a collapse of society? So I started doing it extra loud, and I call it weenie weeding. Let's get rid of the weenies. Somebody came on and called me a bully for doing that. Can you believe that? So there you are. But most people get a kick out of it, and I've had a lot of compliments, and I just had somebody ask a question today, and here's you all reading my minds again. Hey, have you thought about having Stonemont mugs so that we can drink along with you while we watch the videos and slurp and gulp with you? I have just finished designing, not just today, but a few days ago, designing the logo, the design for a Stonemont mug. So yeah, it's coming. And yes, t-shirts. I think I'm wearing a Stonemont t-shirt under here now. T-shirts will be available again soon. And there's a couple of other items I'm going to keep secret that are going to be coming out for all the dyed-the-wool true Stonemonters. Okay, is that everything? The new book, yeah. Mugs, t-shirts, how to get the books, yes. There really is a Stonemont world for you who have joined us recently, and we'd love you to be a Stonemonter. That's what we call people who have read all the books and kind of a part of us. Okay. Somebody asked, so you've made reference to what you would do if everything fell apart. And but are there friends that you would meet up with? Are there family that you would take with you? Are there all these things? Boy, that is a complicated subject, so I'm going to try to cover all of it. Okay, one more weenie weeding slurp here and gulp. Might have to do another one later because my mouth gets dry when I talk too much. So I mentioned in a previous one that if everything went down, I said you need to scoot right away. While the suburbs I continue to maintain are a much better and a safer place to live than more rural areas before a collapse, they are not where you want to be after a collapse. That brings us to the bugging out. I don't really like the term bugging out, but I'm not going to try to invent a new term because everybody knows what bug out means. But you need to get out of there because it will be a horrible, horrible place to be. If for no other reason that either you'll have to, share all of your food with all of your neighbors, which then you starve to death and your kids starve to death, or you're going to have to kill people to keep them from taking your food. Simple. I know people will come on every time I talk about this and say, but have you thought about? Yes, Roscoe, we've thought about everything. Okay. Yes, we've thought about having to kill people. Yeah, we've thought about people starving to death. We've thought about it all. That's why you need to get out of the suburbs. Okay, so what's my plan? Now, as I go along here, I'll say as much as I think is necessary, and I'll kind of self-edit as I go along if I feel I need to. Okay? Okay. Oh, I'm finished up that thought. I have said you need to get out immediately. In the previous one, I said as soon as it goes out, you need to be gone the next morning. Okay? At sunup, you spend that time loading up and being ready to go, assuming your vehicles work. That is if you don't have other people that you need to get with. Okay, you're going to find out that my situation and many other people's situation are going to be more complicated. So we'll be talking about the more complicated. Okay, let's imagine everything shuts off. The grid goes down. Okay, now that's not the same as everything going off. So I should just say the grid goes down. How do we know the grid has gone down? Okay, well, nothing electrical is working. Okay, your phones aren't working. No lights are working. Nothing. Can't get gas at the gas station. Can't get anything. Nothing's being delivered anywhere. I mean, no utilities. Okay. Vehicles, if they're still running, and here we get back to the difference between EMP, CME, and whether it's a cyber attack or whatever. I'm not going to get into all that. Already covered that. Maybe all vehicles are running. Maybe some are running. We're going to go with what I think is the most immediate danger here, and that is that your vehicles are running, or at least my vehicles are running. Okay, and if it's an EMP or a CME, there's a question. Some will run, some won't. Depends on where they are. Okay. Okay, so let's. Here's my scenario. You can follow along. Like I say, I'm going to cover the basics. I'll self-edit and keep out certain details as I feel that I need to. Everything goes off. Okay. First thing I do is I think about where is everybody in my family. Okay. My son is at work. Kelly's with a friend, off shop doing something. The other two kids are here or at friends, wherever. So I wait for a little bit. Okay. You don't know immediately everything goes off. You don't know what it might have been. Everything's off. So I wait a few hours. I of course test my phone, see if I can get a hold of anybody. I can't. I see who shows up. I see if Kelly comes home when I expect her to come home. Yes, she did. She came home early because where she was, could have been Costco, could have been having lunch with her sister-in-law, could have, whatever. She came home early because all of the electricity went out there. They want to know what was going on, so she came home. Okay. Our son is at work. He comes home after a few hours because everything's shut off. Okay. So now we're here at home, and let's just say that the other two kids are with their friends. We drive over to the friend's house. We pick them up. We bring them home. Okay. We chat with the parents of the friends. Well, what do you think's going on? Of course, we have a suspicion. We're always thinking for the worst, right? The average person is always thinking, oh, it's going to get better. Oh, no problem. Somebody slammed into a utility pole, and so they're not all that worried. They're just worried that they're not going to be able to use the oven to warm up their pizza tonight. But we're going to take a closer look at it. Now we're going to keep testing things. We're going to just kind of hunker down, get ready to prepare what we want to eat that night. I'm going to be talking to everybody about here's what's going to happen if the grid is down. Okay, we're going to stay here through the next day because it's going to take a day or two for people to really get worried. And besides that, I need time to let other people who are in my group get to me. I am the hub of a number of people, okay, let's say, and a number of other little groups. So I'm staying put. I'm giving them a chance to get to me. I'll give them a day or two, and I'm not going to say how much because they know how much, and we'll get to that in a minute. So during this time, I know, we're going to be talking with neighbors. Neighbors are out front. We'll see them. Hey, are your lights off? Yeah, my lights are off. Oh, what do you think's going on? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to be telling, my kids, if the grid is down, we're loading everything up. So start to stage everything in the garages. Start to stage everything to load up the SUVs. We have 3 large SUVs. We have an Excursion. Steve, don't give away your OPSEC. maybe I'll do another one on that. I'll call it Prepper Paranoia. You guys, some of you get way out there. I have a Ford Excursion, largest SUV ever made for production. That's why I have it. That's why I've kept it, for this very reason. I have an extended Yukon Denali. I have the Denali model because I like it, because it's more comfortable. It has the heavier duty engine and the heavier duty suspension package. Okay. Then we have a Ford Expedition, which is the mid-size. I prefer SUVs to pickups for the very simple reason that they are pickups with roofs on them. Okay, that's all they are. Okay, the Excursion is an F-250, but the back end has a roof on it, which means that if I carry stuff back here, it's not in the rain. But Steve, you can put a topper on it. Yes, you can. But if you need something out of the back, you have to stop. You have to get out. You have to go around there, open it up, and go and get it. See, with an Excursion, with an SUV, I can tell one of the people riding in the back seat, hey, would you go back there and get such and such? And they don't have to stop, don't have to get out. Okay, you can also sleep in it. It's a little house that you're driving around in. I also prefer the SUVs to trailers because, and I've said if you want a trailer to stock your food in, that's great. But if you're boogieing, and you need to go a little bit off road, you can't be dragging a trailer around behind you. You can to an extent, but you're going to get to a point it's going to be more difficult. An SUV can get places that a trailer can't, just like a horse can get someplace that an SUV can't, right? Okay. So we have those, plus we have a couple of extra vehicles besides that. Those aren't as big, but they're there if needed. And we have, everybody who is old enough to drive, or let me put it this way, everyone who is capable of driving will be driving. Okay, so we have 2 adults and we have a 16-year-old. So each of us will be driving one of those. If we want to take another vehicle, we also have somebody who's not quite 16 but is able to drive it if we want to, for whatever reason. So I've explained that to everybody. I said, okay, now I want guns out here. We will have guns. Each of us who is big enough, old enough, in my opinion, to have a gun on them, will be carrying a pistol, not out where everybody can see it. They will have a pistol at hand. Do we expect any trouble? No. Okay, but we prepare for what we don't normally expect, right? I have a tendency to slouch down in my chair when I'm at my desk because I often have my feet up on it while I'm writing. So we have that position. I tell the kids kind of what's going on and what to expect, and now we just kind of visit with neighbors. Okay, so what's going on? We wait. So one of the hardest things sometimes is to wait. But if you don't wait and you just go out there and try to jump in the middle of something, as I had Jim Wyatt say in one of the books, sometimes if you rush into something, you find out you can't rush back out again if you need to, right? So wait and watch and see what's going on. Now, we're going to wait through the first night. The first night, and like I say, because maybe I should tell you about my circle of groups so you'll understand. Okay, I have a central circle of friends who are all tightened up. We've just discussed this for years, and we have talked about that if it looks like we're going to scoot, they're coming here, or they're going to meet at another location. Okay, I'm staying here for a certain amount of time. If they're not here by then I'm going to the next location. And I'll be there for a certain amount of time. And then I'll move to the next location. And then I'll be there for a certain amount of time. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what those times are, but or where they are. But that's the thing. And in a grid down situation, each of those places would be tenable for a period of time, but we have a full destination in mind. Okay. And I think I mentioned the other day, it's about 3 hours drive, 20 hours walk. You know, the main one. We have a secondary, a halfway point in there that's about hour and a half, 2 hour drive, and 10, 15 days walk. So I wait till it gets dark as the rest of the family, we're all staging things in the garage, ready to be loaded into the SUVs when we need it to go. We don't want to wait until the time that it's ready to go. We want it right there. All the food, all the supplies, all the camping supplies, all the water purifiers, extra clothes, warm clothes, everything that you need to live. That's it. You're leaving. This is one of those I'm not coming back deals, because if you need to come back, you can just come back. Okay. But if you can't come back, you want everything possible in there. We load everything. We get everything ready to load except the dog. He's also coming with us because he is a front line of our defense. But he's staying out there in the backyard until we're ready to go because that's his job. Okay. The first night, as it gets dark, I'm going to go out and I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive around, and I'll probably take one of the others with me, to help me watch and whatever. It will not be my oldest son because I need him here with Kelly as a group. Okay. So I'll go out and I'll drive and I'll see how far I can go until I see lights. And if I don't see lights anywhere, I have a pretty good idea of what's going on. Okay. There's not going to be a lot of traffic out there. See, most people will think at this point, oh, the traffic's going to be horrible. You're going to be stuck in traffic jams. You won't. No. That's not what's going to happen, especially out in the suburbs. Now, down in the city, and I don't mean, a lot of people who don't know the city don't realize the different circles within a city. I'm not talking about the urban core, okay? But as I go through the suburbs and I get closer to the urban core and I'd see no lights, I have a better idea what's going on. When I get in sight on a freeway of the downtown area and I see no lights, now I know. Okay. I've turned on the radio. I don't pick up any stations from Topeka or St. Louis or Chicago or Oklahoma City. Now I really know what's going on. The grid is down. Okay. You get some sleep. You keep somebody on watch all the time. Again, in the suburbs, nobody's coming after you. Nobody's coming after you for a few days, okay, to be real honest. And then if they are, it's like, do you have any, wipes? Do you have any paper towels? Do you have any beans? That's what they're coming. They're going to be asking. We're not going to be there then anyway. But nobody's coming after you that first night in the suburbs or even the second night. So the next day, I wait. I see who's going to show up. I make contact with a few people around here. We have a family. First off, I know all of my neighbors. Every single one of them. I don't understand the people that say, I don't know any of my neighbors. Why not? I mean, that is one of the first items of preparedness. I'll be real honest. I know that a lot of preppers are antisocial. That's to your detriment if you're one of those. It really is. And it's not up to them to come meet you. If you should want to know what is surrounding you, okay? And by getting out there, you don't have to become good buddies with everybody, nor do you have to become enemies with everybody. You just need to, hey, spend a few minutes while you're walking down the street. Hey, how are you? And you will you'll have a sense you'll have a sense of people, okay? I'm not going to say who's good and who's bad. You can't tell that until you get to know somebody. But you're going to have a sense of people, and you should, okay? If you don't do that, you should. So I know all of my neighbors. And I'm sure there will be a lot of conversations, about what do you think's going on? What is this? And that will give me a sense. And I'm not going to come out and say what I think is going on right away. But it's going to give me a sense of where they are mentally in the process. Is anybody getting ready to go nuts? Nah, nobody's going to go nuts the first day. Okay. Now we have a few that I know. I mean, we know hundreds of families in the mile from school, from the kids' schools, and we meet all their parents. Okay. We have a family over here who's like family. They call Kelly Aunt Kelly. They're good friends. They're not as into preparedness as we are, by a long shot, but they're good people. We have another friend out here. They are just exceptional. We're very close with them. He is more preparedness minded. He's already set up, and his idea has been for years that he has an RV and he's going to take to the road. I'll touch base with him. First off, I'll touch base with the others, see how they're doing. See if they want to go with us if and when we leave town. And here's where you prep for more than yourself, okay? Because one of the best things you can have after a collapse is people, good people, not just people, good people, people that you trust, people that you share basic fundamental values and principles with. And, I'll take that over somebody that's got a lot of prep supplies, but isn't my kind of person any day. And we'll feel them out, see if we might be taking off of this. Do you all want to come with us? We'll see what they say. There's somebody else a few blocks over that, I sure should have mentioned my first friend. He actually does have a destination. It's out in the middle of Kansas where he's from. He's probably not going to be coming with us, but I want to touch base with him, make sure he's all right. Another person, I don't know him well, but he is very preparedness minded. He met him through one of the sports teams one of our kids is on. He's read my books, loves it, really getting into it. I am going to touch base with him, see see what he's about. He's a very physically capable person. We know their family to an extent. I like him. I have another friend that is close by, he and his family. He's got more pew-pews than pew-pew land, but he also has a farm out south. Now that farm of his is not our destination. As a matter of fact, I won't get into that. So I'll touch base with all of these people during the day, okay? And then I'll kind of wait and come on down, buddy, and watch my my second son is being very quiet. He knows that all my kids are so good. They're very, very quiet in case Dad's making a video. I'll be done in a few minutes. And then I'll wait. Now, pretty much everybody, we have extended family. We have some of my family, some of Kelly's family. We would love to have them join us. Each of them brings something to the table. None of them are as prepared as we are, but we have put the word out. If anything goes down, you come here. Okay? That's our, and they are. They all bring a lot to the table. Okay? It's not just beans and bullets that you bring to the table. Again, I'd say I'd rather have good people with me, competent people, smart people, resilient people, imaginative people, people who can get along, people who will work together. That's very important. Than just a bunch of trigger pullers. Okay? And then I will wait and see if they come to me. It's not going to be my job to go out and track them down. Okay? They all know where I live. I hope that they will make it to me if that's their plan. But if they don't, then they have made another decision. As simple as that. I'm not going to run out there because I have a family to take care of here. I have to be here. Not that I expect any trouble, but I want to be here to be a part of any conversations, like with neighbors, see what's going on, And this is kind of our command post, as it were. You know, if you want to get real tactical, this is our command post. I need to be here, and I will wait and see who shows up. I will be there through that first day because that's plenty of time for any of them to either get to me or get word to me that, hey, we're coming, or hey, I'm here and so is coming. Okay, all that. And they should be bringing everything they have that their minds tell them they should bring to survive. Okay, they aren't just going to come and expect me to supply everything. They're all adults. Okay, they need to bring everything they have. They don't have as much as I do. I understand. That's not going to be the price of admission, that you have to bring just as much as I have. No, because there's going to be a deal where we're all working together. But here's the deal also. As they come, I am the one with the most knowledge about preparedness. I am the most knowledge about most of the things that go, well, pretty much everything that goes into preparedness. Okay, I have the most knowledge about security. I have the most knowledge about gardening. I have the most knowledge about weapons. I have the most knowledge about all of the things. I have the most knowledge about that. So guess who is in charge? And I don't say that to say that I'm going to be the little tyrant, but this is too important. Okay, this is not one of those conversations that you sit around and people can disagree about, okay, or be disagreeable. Simple as that. I will not tolerate disagreeableness at this point. Okay, anybody that wants to bring a problem personality in will be invited to take that problem personality right out and right now. I will not brook any quibbling about that because the survival of my children and my family depends on it. Okay. So as they come, and they come wanting to be a part of the team and willing to follow my leadership, and if you're in the one that's the prepared in your group, you have to be willing to accept that. You're not taking the authority because you want to be important. You're accepting the responsibility and recognizing that the authority and the leadership has to come with it, and you have to accept responsibility for leadership. Okay? Simple as that. It doesn't mean that you don't listen to opinions, but it means that after you've listened to an opinion, you make the decision. Okay? Let's see how we're doing on time here. See if I need to make this a two-parter or if I can talk fast. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll be back with you on part 2 later.